who are you?
Well, my name is Sara. I am originally from Serbia. I used to live in Chicago for many years, and I am a woman entrepreneur in the trucking industry for the American market.
Boom.
Yes,
Okay, so
that's
you already
me.
told me the story about how you got your trucks, and I think that's a really cool story to share one more. So please, how? I mean, you don't find a lot of women in entrepreneurship in general, and then like in trucking industry, it's like almost non-existent.
I know. I'm
So-
an oxymoron. That's what I am. So essentially, I would start off by saying, well, how I got to the States in the first place. I was in law school and I was just a little bit frustrated with my life at the moment, as most students are probably. And I came to Chicago, and you know, I had all these friends who had these stories of like from rags to riches, and everybody was driving sports cars, this and that, and you know, they told me, okay, trucking is the place to be. And okay, I thought to myself, okay, let's see what it's all about, because I had this theory of a 20-something-year-old that, you know, if you don't know anything about any given subject, just surround yourself with as many people as you can and try to kind of, you know, figure out what it's all about. So this is essentially what I did. I got a job as a salesperson for a major logistics brokerage. This was when I was maybe 21 or 22. And well, I started doing sales for like domestic and international air, ocean, and ground freight. And basically the job entailed me walking into a warehouse asking for the shipping manager, and hey, I'm here to get your freight. And everybody, you know, everybody was laughing at me because I was, you know, I was very young. I did not exactly know what I was doing, but I was, you know, just trying to wing it, kind of. And nothing. I was doing that for a year and something, but eventually I started getting this feeling that I should, you know, have an operational background, because all this time I was just kind of making it work by me. Well, I wouldn't know how to say this, but like just me being me, right? Everybody thought I had a sense of humor, right? And they were like, okay, let's see what you got. And you know, the whole working of all the onboarding of the new clients was on the operational side. So I kind of wanted to see what it's all about, and I started doing air freight as an agent. So I was basically sitting by a desk, by a computer from like 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. doing all this paperwork that, you know, it drove me crazy, because I like to talk to people. I like to, you know, sit and kind of, you know, hear different points of view and different opinions, and this was just like me talking to myself and looking at the screen all day long. So that didn't work out, right? And I got fired. Okay, this is what happened. No lie about it. But this job, because it was one of the major logistics 3PL brokerages, kind of opened the door for me. So I got a job as a dispatcher for a trucking company. And a lot of dispatchers at the time, my coworkers, had trucks, right? So I started asking around, you know, how can I get a truck? And the owner of the company I was working for at the time, I guess he found me funny, or I'm not really sure. You know, he wanted to help out because it was a little bit unusual that me, not even, I was not a woman, I was a girl at like 23 years old or something. And he said, okay, let me hook you up with this guy. He works for a for a drug dealership. He's gonna, you know, hook you up. Literally, this is what they did. I had some savings on the side from all, you know, the previous years of work. I was also doing a little bit of bartending on the side, and nothing. I gave all my savings at the time for a down payment to buy a truck. It was a 2014 used Volvo 670 automatic I-shift. I remember, with like 500,000 miles on it, and I got my first driver, Karel, from Cienfuegos de Cuba. So me and Karel were just, out there trying to figure it out. I wasn't even a good dispatcher, I swear. This is not something I do well. I am a very average dispatcher. I'm a great salesperson, but like when I'm supposed to do administration or operational work, I'm not very logical in that sense.
What's a dispatch?
Dispatcher. So a dispatcher in the trucking industry would be a person who's in charge of booking loads for empty trucks. So let's say you have an empty truck in Chicago, it needs to go to the East Coast. You find a load for it on the load board, let's say, and you find the best rate at this particular time. You send it to the East Coast, and then you dispatch it out from the East Coast back to where you want it to go. So essentially, ideally you're supposed to make the company money and make the driver money too. So this is the compromise you're supposed to make when you are at this spot. And I'm not very good at math, so this is why I just couldn't bring myself to do it well. And nothing, I got this first truck, and I transferred to a company to be the head of recruiting to another trucking company, and I got a few more trucks over there. I started doing recruiting instead of dispatching, and this is where it all kind of took off for me. So at this one point, I was like a small fleet owner within a trucking company I worked for as a head of recruiting, and at the same time, I could just arrange new drivers whenever I had an empty truck. And like let's say a truck broke down in North Carolina, I could have the company borrow me a tow truck and go to North Carolina, tow a truck. So this is another funny story. So I had 3 broken down trucks in a single week, and the market started having a major downturn. This was like 2018, right? So the tow trucking company, they quoted me $5,500 to tow this truck from North Carolina back to Chicago. The transmission broke down, and at this point, I was starting to take all my check money, like my money from my day job, and putting it into this business that was just like sinking.
Can you tell us the story about when you towed the whole truck?
Okay.
The whole, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. So I asked the owners of the trucking company to borrow this tow truck, to lend this tow truck to me, and I didn't know how to use it. So it looks like a regular semi-truck, and it's got this giant hook on the back. So essentially, when you tow a semi-truck, it's towed backwards. The broken truck is towed backwards, and you hook it up with this hook, like it's got chains on it. So you put the chains around the axle, and you hook it out there. But I didn't know how to do it, right? So I asked the mechanic, because he's a friend of mine, right? And I asked him, okay, can you please come to the yard with me and show me how to tow a truck? And I'm gonna film it with my phone. And he said yes. So I'm bringing another friend to drive the truck to North Carolina, and we hook it up and we tow it back to Chicago, right? It's about whatever. And in my mind, that's like a day's work. It's, we can do it. If they can do it, we can do it. If I can see it done, I can replicate it, right? And So the mechanic showed me how to hook up the truck to the tow truck, right? So I come to North Carolina and these chains are like, they're very heavy. They're super heavy, and like it's actually a lot of work to get them around the axle in a way, they won't twist and turn, and then you have to strap the truck with a few straps so these little parts on the side, they don't fly, the flaps and whatnots, they don't fly out when you backwards drive the truck back, right? And I didn't do it properly. So there was a Cuban guy there, so I asked him, hey buddy, listen, I can give you $50 if you can hook up the tow truck to the tow truck, right? And he says, yeah, sure, I'll do it for you. So he takes my money, he does it, and of course we don't strap the truck. You're supposed to take the seat belt, wrap it twice around the wheel and the steering wheel, right? And to hook it back. So the steering wheel doesn't move. We didn't do that, neither. So long story short, we start towing it back and the truck goes like this. I see it in the back mirror and it's just like, woo! So nothing, we made it back alive and well, which is what matters. And the truck's airbags were all fucked up because we didn't hook it up properly, or my Cuban friend didn't, that is. And as time flew by, I was starting to collect all the paperwork for my taxes and all of this. It was like December, and I figured like the gross revenue that I was supposed to be taxed on was gigantic. So I take out all the accounting and all the expenses, because my mom was doing my accounting at the time, because I'm not very good with numbers, and I only made like not even 30,000 that year. And just to note that my hair was falling off, my hormonal panel was all effed up. I had heart issues at the moment, so it was really, it was really, really, really rough for me. So this is how I synced my first business, essentially. At that point, I did the math, and I looked at the toll it was taking on my health, and I'm supposed to be at my prime time at that moment. I was like 24, 25. I'm supposed to be boom. And if it's destroying my health at 25, what's gonna do for me at 30 years old? So I just kind of said to myself, this is not for me. I should exit it and just stick to my day job and see what happens, right? And I had a personal crisis after that, because everybody was like saying to me, you're the how should I put this in English without it sounding rude, but okay, go for it. Good. You're the boss lady. You do you. Whatever. Everybody was cheering for me, and then I was like, I just cannot do it anymore. It's not making me money. It's making me sad, depressed, and tired all the time. I just I'm exiting out of this. And everybody started asking me, okay, but what happened? And then these stories started going around. She's bust. I sold my Mercedes. I bought a Beetle, a white one. I really love that car. And that they were all like saying, hey, she went bust. That's it. She's not cut up for it. And this is just something I kind of had to swallow, I guess. And a couple of years went by. I went back to Serbia, and I continued working as a head of recruiting. But at one point, well, my Chicago salary was 4 times more than my Serbian salary was. Because, they told me, okay, well, now you're in Serbia, that's it. You cannot make the same money. I was making the company the same money, but due to my geological limitation at the moment, I cannot make myself money, right? So I started getting this unbearable itch about it. Like I see all of this work being done. I built the whole department. I had 30 people under me. I was with the company for 2-3 years at the moment. And, I see all the work being done, right? But I just, it does not reflect on me personally, should I say. And, I was seeing all these people like living large, dining out, having their Miami vacations and such. And I don't know. I don't have a problem with other people's success. It was not envy or something of that nature. It was just an itch because I was there, I was doing it, and then I went out and I never continued my entrepreneurship, should I say. And I just went out of the company. I couldn't do it anymore. I quit without a plan, okay? I couldn't bear the thought. And I called my dad and I asked him, okay, well, are you gonna support me now? Because you haven't said a word to me. And he goes, but how can I support such an act? Like, who in their right mind would just go and quit such a good job, such a stable job, in a good company, with a good salary. You had a life standard to live up to as well. And I go, well, me, your eldest daughter, me, Sara. So he goes, but why? And I'm like, because it's not it for me. It's just not. It wasn't making me happy, and I thought to myself, I can do something else. Like, I was ready to just go out, open up a farmer's market, and sell, I don't know, cucumbers, whatever, tomatoes. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't stand the fact that I'm building something and I'm not building it for myself. And I told my dad, okay, well, I see it like this. I'm your daughter, and you're supposed to support me. It's up to me to make decisions in regards to my life, and it's up to you as my parents to support me. And if I'm saying I'm not happy and I want to do something else, please, if you cannot support it, just don't be unsupportive, because it really means a lot when your parents say, hey, listen, go do you, and if you think you can do better, and if you fail, we'll be there to be your support system. And this was also a breaking point in our relationship, should I say, because from that point on, he kind of started, I feel like, because I told him, maybe think of it this way: if you didn't get it from your father, please try to do it for me. It would really mean a lot. And he really did, try to kind of put himself in my shoes, and not in my shoes, in like everybody's shoes within the family. My mom's shoes, my sister's shoes, and it was really a milestone for us as a family, because it really kind of started bringing us together, even though we had separate points of view. Like, he's old school. He was in the police force. He was a sergeant there for his entire career. He's retired now. Then on the other hand, my mom is she was the head of procurement for a public health institution, right? And she was doing that for 30 plus years. And recently, she just decided it's a toxic environment for her. She's not making any personal progress, and she decided to move to the private sector. She moved to Belgrade. From Užice, that's like the western part of Serbia, and it really, like I feel like this whole experience of us just randomly banging our heads against the wall really made a lot of made a lot of good things happen for us as a family. So that's cool. I'm grateful and I'm happy for it.
And I mean, you spent a lot of time in the US. What do you miss from the US?
Customer service. Oh my God. Like you sit down in a restaurant. I went into into this whole story into an entrepreneurship to sit down in a restaurant every day and just be taken care of. I really enjoy it. I love the feeling, and it might sound stupid, and I just really, really, really like to dine out. And when you sit down, even if it's not like a fine dining type of place, even if it's like a cafe, they approach you with a smile. Hi, how are you? I'm very good. How are you? Thank you. And then what do you have on the menu today? And then they give you this whole wonderful story of how their dough is made, or how their lasagna or their pasta is hand rolled, or whatever. We do have that here in certain places, which I enjoy, but not everywhere. It's not like a standard practice, right? Also, this feeling where when you go out on the street and you just, you start walking and you get lost. And you can walk the entire day, and you're always going to walk to a new place, and it's always going to be beautiful, and it's always going to be something new. And I don't know, a lot of people, when they say it's a melting pot, it really is a melting pot. And especially the Midwest, I love the Midwest because it does not have this unfriendly face towards immigrants, because it's immigrants made Chicago, and of course there's a lot of Serbian people as well. That's a plus, but everybody's welcoming. I don't know.
And what do you hate about US?
What do I hate about the U.S.? Well, the fact the health insurance is way too expensive. Let's compare the two. Like if you compare Serbia, where health and social is available to everybody, and it's not expensive when you look at it towards a point where what's the average salary in Belgrade versus how much they contribute or they pay to health insurance and social, right? But in the US, everything is like bizarrely expensive, and you don't get the quality of healthcare you get in Serbia, for example, if we're comparing the two, right? Then what do I hate about the US? The fact that you have to work. Like my place of work was an hour and something, because I was living in the West Loop downtown. So I had to sit in the car, listen to audiobooks and podcasts, drive to work until 5 p.m. and then major rush hour, drive back. So, it's a lot more tiring than it is here. Okay, I have my own company, but let's say I work for somebody else, because I have, right? I get up because it's Central Standard Time, and Serbia, the time difference is such that you start around 2 p.m. here, Serbian time, if you work for a US company, and you finish around, let's say 10, 11 p.m. But you have the entire day. You can actually meet up with friends. You don't have to schedule 2 weeks in advance. Like, you can just call your cousin and say, hey, listen, I'm right here in front of your building. Want to come out? Let's go get coffee. And everybody's going to say, yeah, sure. And it's just like, for me, spiritually, Serbia is the place to be. Like, you can have your social life. If you want to get educated in Serbia, you will get top-notch education for, let's say, if you want to pay the college, law school is like what, 1,200 euros per year if you're not given grants from the government, right? So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of perks to being in Serbia.